Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, and I'm bringing you my review of Captain America issue 7, and this is the 75th anniversary kind of edition, so there's essentially 5 different comics in this one, and I thought all of them were pretty good. And even though the art styles were all kind of different, they all kind of worked. Usually, sometimes art's like, that doesn't look like Captain America, that's kind of weird, but these all worked. They had their different styles, but they went with the tones of the stories. So the first part of the comic dealt with Sam and Bucky, and they're dealing with the kind of shield prison that has been had. This is dealing with the Avengers standoff, where it's found out that shield has a prison for supervillains. But what they've been doing is they have had fragments of the cosmic cube, and they formed together a sentient being called Kobik, and it's taken the form of a little girl and has actually changed the personalities of these supervillains to be kind of more docile and kind of good people, the best versions of themselves. This is an interesting moral quandary and very kind of good ground because Sam and Bucky are not cool with this. Never mind the fact that this is a mega level kind of power entity that is essentially taking on the form of a little girl because it just was born. It doesn't know what it can do. And making it do these things to these supervillains, though they're supervillains, it's morally wrong to do that kind of thing. You want them to change on their own, not force this change on them. So they're going through, and Baron Zemo has done a riot, so everybody's kind of reverting back to themselves and attacking the SHIELD personnel and everything. So all hell is breaking loose, and Sam and Bucky are like teaming up to work together to try and figure out the situation and help everybody that needs helping. And they come upon two supervillains trying to take down the SHIELD agent, but they don't know it's a SHIELD agent, so they get in, and she turns around and takes out the supervillains, and she needs to get in to kind of like assess the situation, the security stuff. So they kind of like back her up and get to like the manual override for her to let her in, and that was pretty cool. And while after they did that, they were introduced to Kobik, and she's like, he needs help, and she's referring to Commander Rogers. And then that leads to the next part of the comic, where it switches over to a new artist and everything, and it goes through Steve and this like thought process as he's getting beat to death by Crossbones. And it was a really good testament that Steve is still trying to help people and everything, and even though he has been weakened and doesn't have the super soldier serum anymore, that he's still thinking of all the people that he helped, and in his final moments he's just letting it go and fighting his last fight. And then Kobik is like, you know what, I can make you a hero again, and then restores the super soldier serum, and I really liked that. It was a really effective way of doing it. Granted, we knew it was going to happen at some point, but I liked how it was done. It wasn't done in a way that was like, oh, da-da! It's convenient. I mean, it's kind of convenient, but it was showing his strength as a character, that he is a hero for all the things that he's done. And it was just really cool to get him back. It's like, alright, we got 3 Captain Americas here. This has got to get all knocked down. And it was really effective as well before he got to that point, that he was helping Maria Hill because she needed medical attention. And it was very effective to have Baron Zemo doing his villain shtick, because even though he's doing bad things, he has been very wronged by having his personality messed with in this way. And even though I don't like that he's killing people and everything and harming the SHIELD agents, SHIELD has to be held accountable for this. This is like things that Hydra would do to heroes. You know, this is the things that SHIELD should be doing to people. And it was interesting because Maria let it slip that she was actually going to have Kobik do the same thing for her and let her just live a normal life. And it really goes with like choices and free will, and it's a really nice, meaty concept. Then it goes to a comic of going about like what Captain America stands for. These are kind of like the rest of them. But the first one deals with how in World War II, people were trying to get Captain America to have the Amerigun. And he's like, that's not what we're doing. I need the shield because we're not there to conquer. We're there to protect. The shield is for protection. You're thinking that, oh, we've been on the defensive. We need to be on the offensive. The shield is to protect people. It's not to, it can hurt people, but it's not there expressively to kill people. It might like knock people out, but that's the great thing about Steve. He's not there to completely hurt someone or do as much damage as possible. He's to stop people with as minimal force as possible and get them to be stopped what they're doing and protect those who cannot protect themselves. And I really like that part of the comic. Then it went to an interesting one where you see him going through this Hydra thing, this Hydra base, trying to find something, and you find out that it was part of his kit from World War II, and it was a Babe Ruth baseball signed by Babe Ruth from his dad. And that's really cool to kind of like show his time and how he's not just an emotionless soldier. He's got feelings, he's got emotions, and that was a really cool kind of callback to his early childhood. And the last one dealt with him trying to stop an assassination, and you rarely see Steve kind of wind down and relax. And he was at this ballet, and he's like, wow, this is actually pretty cool, as he's like going through to stop it. And of course, Black Widow had taken the place of the ballerina to make sure that nothing went wrong. But it was really cool to show Steve kind of in a different element that like he can appreciate these kind of things, even though he was referring to it as that was luxury for the rich because of the time period he's from, of the Great Depression of World War II. And I just thought it was an effective way to tie Steve, Sam, and Bucky kind of together and what makes them good Captain Americas. Alright, so those are my opinions. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.